Yes, guys, I'm Sai. Welcome back to Cardiff City World. This is another episode of the Breakdown Extra, and today it's a real interesting one. We're diving into a name you've probably seen mentioned in the headlines a lot this week, but might not know too much about. So we wanted to give you a bit of a deep dive, bit more information about the Wasserman Football Agency, who've been announced as helping Cardiff City with their managerial search. So, who are they? What do they do? And more importantly, why are they playing a part in choosing Cardiff City's next manager? Strap in, because by the end of this video, you should have a better understanding of Wasserman's power in the beautiful game, their influence in UK football, and exactly how they're now involved in helping shape Cardiff City's next chapter. And the rise of Wasserman. So, first things first, who are Wasserman? Well, Wasserman is one of the biggest names in global sports agency world. Founded by Casey Wasserman in the early 2000s, the company started out in the US representing basketball, NFL, baseball, and Olympic athletes. But around 2006, they shifted gears and entered the football scene in a big way, buying out SFX Sports Group, one of the leading football agencies in Europe at this time. That was their move into the game over here. And since then, they have grown and grown. They are now manage hundreds of footballers, coaches, and backroom staff, media figures across the world. They've got offices in London, Manchester, LA, Amsterdam, and Munich, you name it. They are global. And their football arm is massive. They're comfortably one of the top 5 most powerful football agencies on the planet. Wasserman and Cardiff City. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for us in Cardiff. Earlier this month, Cardiff City chairman Mehmet Dalman confirmed something that raised a few eyebrows. Wasserman are involved in the club's search for a new manager. Not just advising behind the scenes, but actively part of a newly formed subcommittee. That committee, as Dalman confirmed to the BBC Sports Wales, includes Gavin Chesterfield, the club's respected head of academy, former Swansea and Rangers football director Mark Allen, who was also at Manchester City for a while, and a senior figure from Wasserman. This is a huge shift in how Cardiff City operates. For the first time, the club is outsourcing at least part of its decision-making, in part, to an external agency, one that represents many managers, players, and football staff all over Europe. Why? Well, because the club wants to be more thorough, more professional, and more data-informed when they make their hiring decisions. This isn't a bad thing. And I've said for a while that Cardiff City need to think outside the box. We feel like we're behind on a lot of metrics, whether it's social media, data analytics, analysis of games, whatever it may be, medical recovery. It always feels like we're behind. Wasserman bring not only a massive network of clients, but they give access to scouting, analytics, insight, and tools. They have placed managers across the EFL and Europe. They have got eyes everywhere. Chapter 3. Who are Wasserman's key football people? Inside the company, some big names are involved in the football representation. Leon Angel heads up the European football division. He's been a major player in the UK football scene for 2 decades. Then, of course, there's Richard Hughes, former Bournemouth sporting director who now works with Wasserman representing football talent. They've also got long-time agents like Barry Silkman and others who are specialists in identifying and nurturing coaching talent. So when Cardiff City say they're working with Wasserman, we're not just talking about a few spreadsheets and a database and a bit of analytics and away we go. We are talking about real industry people, agents and advisors with contacts from League 2 to La Liga, from the MLS to Serie A. They are everywhere and they are top of the game. Number 4, who could Wasserman recommend to Cardiff? All right, let's get into the exciting part now, the names. Because it's not just about Wasserman's influence or their reputation. It's about who they can actually bring to the table. And today, we're going to focus on 4 clients of Wasserman who could realistically be involved in a Cardiff City managerial search. Let's start with the most high-profile name of the lot, Gary ONeal. Now, this guy has done an absolutely stellar job in the Premier League. First at Bournemouth, where he kept them up after stepping in mid-season. That alone was impressive. But then he did a good job at Wolves as well. He took them to the next level before they moved on to others. And he took over, remember, just days after Julian Lopetegui walked out. And most people thought Wolves would struggle. Not only did they avoid the drop, but they played some good football, hard-working, structured football along the way. Smart in the transition, and all with the squad that was probably, or at least supposedly, bottom 3 quality. He did exceed expectations at every term. He's only 40. Now, look, let's be realistic. Gary ONeal probably isn't going to drop into League One anytime soon. Unless he really, really likes the project. He was down here on loan previously as a player, and he really enjoyed it. But his career is relevant to Cardiff because he's exactly the type of progressive, adaptable manager that Wasserman could use as a model. Someone who's come up through an academy football, knows how to work with young players, can manage upwards, can bring tactical discipline without needing a big, huge war chest. So while he's not a direct candidate as such, or at least obviously, because he is a Premier League manager, he's probably going to be looking for a Premier League job or a Championship job. Maybe there's a slim chance now that he'll still come down to League One. I think he would have come to Cardiff in Championship. I'm not so sure in League One, but who knows? If the project's right, it's how you sell it to him, I suppose. His profile shapes the sort of coach that Cardiff should definitely be looking at with Wasserman's help. And look, I said it a little bit tongue-in-cheek just now when I said the most high profile of the lot, because I think we all know this name. This is a name that will get people talking. Some people will agree. Some people will disagree. Steven Gerrard. Yep, that guy. The Liverpool legend. But we're not talking about him as a player. We're talking about him, and we're looking at him purely as a manager. And that story is really interesting. Gerrard made a name for himself as a manager at Rangers, led him to their first Scottish title in a decade. They didn't just win it, they dominated it. Undefeated in the league, solid defensively, played a structured, high-energy style. You could see what he was trying to do. He had vision, and the players bought into it. That earned him a move to Aston Villa, and there was some bright moments there as well, but it didn't last. And ultimately, Unai Emery did a great job with exactly the same squad. So questions have to be asked. The team lacked consistency, and he only lasted a year. But then came his move to Saudi Arabia with Al Hatifak. Apologies. That chapter didn't really work. Disjointed results, underwhelming. Get the sense he wasn't really enjoying it out there. Gerrard's at a bit of a crossroads. And this is where things get interesting for Cardiff. Because normally you'd say Gerrard probably wouldn't consider a League One job. But if he really wants to re-establish himself in British football as a manager at the top level, maybe he needs to work his way up. Maybe he needs to take on a project, reshape a club, work with a clear long-term vision. Maybe a job like Cardiff is the right one. I don't know. It's a big club. It's a sleeping giant. We say it all the time. It's a massive fan base. The platform is there, waiting for the right person. Now, of course, it comes with huge risks. He'd likely command a massive salary. He'd come with some big-name backroom staff, and you'll need to build a structure around him. And let's be honest, the pressure would be intense. But if the board wants a statement appointment and Wasserman is, let's say, guiding the shortlist, Gerrard's going to be discussed, no question. Third name on the list, and this one makes a lot of sense to me. I got to be honest. And it's funny, right? It makes a lot of sense to me now that I've had a little think about it, done a bit of research. Whereas a couple of days ago, when I heard this name, I was like, "What are we doing?" So the next name on the list is Neil Critley. He is not as flashy as the others, but do not let that fool you. Critley's a proper coach's coach. Came through the Liverpool Academy, worked closely with Klopp and the first team, even took charge of senior fixtures when the first team were away at the World Club Cup. So he knows the elite standards that are required at the top level. He brings that level of detail, that level of professionalism wherever he goes. He got his first proper crack as a manager at Blackpool, and he smashed it, to be fair. He took them from mid-table to playoffs, won promotion to the Championship, and he did it playing some of the most attractive football in League One. High tempo, intelligent off the ball, and youthful energy. And that's what, really sticks out for me, is that the youthful players that he likes to work with. What really stands out, though, with Critley is how much his teams improve players. He is a builder, someone who can create a culture, develop a style, nurture young talent. He doesn't need to buy success. He coaches it. And things didn't go well for him at QPR, let's be fair. But QPR has been a bit of a graveyard for managers in recent years. Even Michael Beale, who was flying, struggled there. Critley's brief stint shouldn't define him. If Cardiff are serious about creating a long-term identity, bringing through youth, playing recognisable brand of football, Critley could be the perfect fit for that. He's available, he knows League One, and he fits modern-day mould that Wasserman tend to push. And I think he should be considered. Don't let the non-Hollywood name put you off. And then finally, on this little mini list of Wasserman candidates, is a name which, in my opinion, should have been appointed Cardiff City manager last summer, Steven Schumacher. Now, this is a very, very relevant one. Schumacher is currently in League One with Bolton Wanderers now. He's been widely praised for the job he's doing there. Before that, he guided Plymouth Argyle to promotion from League One, playing some of the most attractive high-pressing football in the division. He built that side with little to no money, got a huge buy-in from the players and the fans alike. Tactically, he's very sharp. His teams press high, they control the ball, they aren't afraid to play out from the back. He's detailed, he's calm under pressure, and is known to be a great communicator. At Bolton, he has had to manage expectation. It's a big club for that level, and he's got him competing at the top end of the table. Now, that's the kind of experience that would translate really nicely to Cardiff. League One is a grind. You need to understand the fixture load, the travel, the physicality. And Schumacher gets that. He's done it all. He's succeeded in it. And he's a Wasserman client. He's exactly the kind of name who could come up in the conversation with this subcommittee and maybe make his way onto the shortlist. I don't know how much it would cost to free him up from his contract. I don't know if he'd still be interested in the Cardiff City job after the way it went last summer. But I certainly know that he'd be in a very interesting name on the shortlist. He is also very ambitious, but not in like this unrealistic way. A move to Cardiff could be seen as a step up in profile, budget, and platform. Maybe. If the club sells the vision right, the project right, then maybe Schumacher can be tempted. So those are your four standout Wasserman names that could bring something special to the table then for Cardiff City. There's more. There's loads of more. They've got loads of clients. Each comes with the pros and the cons. Some are more realistic than others, but they're all in the Wasserman camp. And depending on how ambitious Cardiff want to be, how persuasive the new football structure is, one of them might just be walking through the door at Leckwith this summer. 5. The pros and cons of Wasserman. Let's talk about what Cardiff get out of this and what they need to be careful of, because I think it's a bit like that, you know? I can see the benefits of it, short-term and long-term, but God, I can see some conflict of interest there as well, you know? It is what it is. But let's have a look. Let's pros first. You're getting access to elite-level contacts. You're getting insight into coaches, players beyond your own scouting network. You're getting a structured shortlist backed up by data, references, international reach, analysis. But you're also reduced the chance of getting swayed by emotion and knee-jerk appointments that have cost Cardiff City time and time again. But as is with anything, there is cons. There's cons too. You're working with an agency. They have a vested interest in placing their own clients. So there's always a risk of conflict of interest. What if the best man for the job isn't a Wasserman client? Would they still recommend him, or would they push their own client forward? If you've got two exact candidates in every way and every metric, but one's Wasserman and one's not, will they push the Wasserman client forward, or will they do what they've been contracted or brought in to do with Cardiff City? I don't know. It's a fine line. It's a fine line. And I mean, if you look on their website, they have a whole tab on truth and honesty, and maybe that's a good sign. I don't know. It's a fine line. Cardiff have to keep their own football identity intact. Ironic, I know, while still benefiting from the reach and resources of Wasserman bring. This could be a fantastic partnership for the short and long term. 6, a strategic partnership for Cardiff's future. Here's the thing, right? This is a big thing for Cardiff City. It's a big step. We have seen the bickering, the arguing, the split in the fans, the club just treating the fans like they're an inconvenience, the bickering, the split within the club for years. There is a big, big problem. But after years of firefighting, short-term planning, recycled ideas, they finally opened the door to a new way of thinking. They finally thought outside the box. Working with Wasserman could be a real clever move if the club stays in control. Because let's not forget, the final decision still lies with the board, because the subcommittee, Gavin Chesterfield, Mark Allen, Wasserman, they are just preparing the shortlist. Then it goes to the board, and then they will present, after the interviews, present their choice to the owner. So Wasserman are there to advise, not dictate. But that advice could be key, because whether it's identifying a manager who can build a new identity in League One, or is recommending backroom staff to modernize and sort out the club's culture, or maybe is advising on how to implement a football structure at the club, this partnership could shape the future of Cardiff City for years to come. But who is in the hot seat next at Cardiff City? Who will be the next Cardiff City manager? Time will tell. But with Wasserman involved, you can be sure that the shortlist will be serious, will be thought out well, and will be data-driven. It's going to be a real interesting ride. Keep it locked to Cardiff City World. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into Wasserman and their role in Cardiff's next chapter. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And please do, if you can, become a member. That's what allows us to, produce content 7 days a week. We have various live shows, recorded content, videos, and a whole host of other stuff. Rhys and Evan are back tomorrow with their failed potential 11. And then on Sunday, I'll be back with the breakdown, where I'll be looking at the Emiliano Sala case, among other things, all the latest news and stuff like that. So keep it locked to Cardiff City World. Make sure you subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you soon. Let us know in the comments what you think. Which manager would you like to see take a job? If it was a Wasserman client, which one is it for you? Do you think this kind of agency, partnership, relationship is a smart move by the club? Or is it destined to cause all sorts of problems? Love to hear from you. Keep the faith, my friends, because I feel like it's going to be a rocky road. Take care. This video is brought to you in partnership with BetMate, and with the Europa League final on the horizon, it's your chance to win cash by backing your ball knowledge. BetMate isn't your average bookie, it's social betting where you can go head to head with other fans, not the house. Manchester United versus Spurs, Premier League versus Premier League. 5 quick questions about the big game. Get them right, top the leaderboard, and you can grab yourself a share of the prize pot. The QR code is on screen here. All the details are right there, and it takes seconds to get involved. Just hit the link in the description, enter the pot code to find the Cardiff City World pot, and you're in. No season-long stress, just you, the final. 5 questions, real money up for grabs. Think you've got what it takes? Then prove it with BetMate. Challenge myself, Matt, and all the boys and girls at Cardiff City World to see who can top that leaderboard. In a bit.